Hello, my yarny friends. I'm Sara Sach, and welcome back to my crochet channel. So today is our very first crochet pattern in our 2022 year-long crochet along. And what we're doing for 2022 for our year-long crochet along is we're doing what's called the Scrap Happy crochet along. Each month on the third Monday of the month, I'll be releasing a new pattern that is a scrap happy pattern that we can use up our leftover yarns and make fun and useful projects. So today's pattern is the Scrap Happy Drawstring bag. It is a nice big bag. It measures about 26 around, and it's about 16 inches long. But you can make it longer if you want a longer bag. It's nice and big and roomy and very sturdy because we're using our leftover acrylic medium weight number 4 yarns, and we're holding 2 strands together. All right, but we'll talk more about supplies in just a second. Now, you can find this crochet pattern with pictures on my blog. And as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. I do want to remind you to check back the third Monday of each month for the Scrap Happy pattern release. I will have a playlist here on YouTube that you can click also, just in case you've missed them. All the patterns for the year-long crochet along will be in that playlist, as well as in some of the other playlists. Like today, this is a bag, so I'll put it in the bag playlist. So make sure when you're here at the YouTube channel, you check out those playlists. To make our Scrap Happy drawstring bag, you're going to need approximately 12 ounces or about 500 to 550 yards of medium weight acrylic yarn. And I really stress that when you do a scrap project, unless you're not planning on washing it, try to stay with the same fibers throughout the pattern. And so I have a bunch of different brand yarns here, but they're all acrylic yarns. You can mix brands, just make sure that you stay in the same fiber. You'll also notice on my bag, here I have some variegated. I have some up here as well. And I have some solids, some ombres. I didn't care what colors that the yarns were. I just got in my yarn stash and grabbed a bunch of yarns, making sure they were all acrylic and all medium weight number 4 yarns. And I'm going to show you when we get started a little bit of tricks and hints on holding 2 strands together, because that's what we're going to be doing today to stitch up our crochet bag. We'll be holding 2 strands together. And I really recommend that if you've got some acrylic yarns that are some of the older ones that are scratchy, that's perfect for this bag because it's going to make it even more sturdy. And again, if you do it all in acrylic, it will be 100% washable. You can just throw it in the wash machine and in the dryer and it should be fine. Now, I do not put my yarn, acrylic yarns in the dryer. It's not going to hurt it. I just feel like it breaks it down some, and this is just my opinion, of course, because when I use my acrylic bags for getting groceries and things, sometimes edges of fruits and vegetables rub the inside of the bag, and we don't want it to be yucky and dirty inside or maybe have bacteria. So it's a good idea to wash them, and then I just hang them out back on my deck where the sun hits and dry them that way. Or if I'm doing a load of laundry, I'll put it on top of the dryer and it can dry that way. It's just an opinion. I feel like it makes the yarn last a little bit longer. And some of these bags that I have made, I've had over 15 years and they're still holding up just fine. So you're going to need approximately 12 ounces of any medium weight acrylic yarn. That's a number 4 medium weight. And yardage wise, it's about 500 to 550 yards. It takes a lot because we're holding the 2 strands together. We're going to be stitching with our K hook. That's a 6.50 millimeter crochet hook. And we're using that K hook because we do want our stitches to be a little bit tighter than something that's a little bit looser, of course. We want our bag to be sturdy. You'll also need a pair of scissors, and then you'll also need a needle. And you'll notice I have a regular needle, not a big-eyed needle for thicker yarns. And that's because when I weave in something that I've done that has 2 or more strands of medium weight, I'll weave those strands in individually. And I'll show you that as well. All right, go get in your yarn stash and see what fun colors you can put together. Before we get started, let's talk about a couple of ways that you can change your yarn colors. All right, so let's say I ran out of my yellow since I already ran out of the red. So I'll go ahead and clip that. And what you can do when you bring in your next color is do what's called a Russian join. Okay, and the way that's done is you thread one end on to your needle and you just go right back in to the yarn and make a loop. All right, then you take the other end that you're going to add, you go through that loop and you go into the yarn on this side. Go in those fibers and pull your needle through. Then you take those 2 ends and you pull on them to close that up, okay? This one needs to be pulled a little more. There we go. Now all you have to do is you can clip these ends a little bit if you want to. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. All right, so all you do, let me get back on this loop here and pull this out, is you just keep right on stitching. And it makes a really nice end. You don't have to worry too much about it. Now, if you didn't clip your ends, you'll have to weave that in. And we'll just poke that to the inside. But I just wanted to show you how easy that is to add in a new color. Now, if both colors have ended and you want to add in 2 new colors, let's see, let's grab this beige since it's a different color. And we'll go ahead and grab this gold again that we're just playing around with here. And what you can do is when you get to the end, if you're ending with both your colors, okay, so we're going to go ahead and go in, pull up a loop, not enough, right? So what we'll do is we'll pull out the last loop of that last double crochet and we'll go ahead and bring in our new color there, okay? Then we'll just drop those behind and continue working. All right, then you'll have to come back in and weave those in the back. And again, I suggest when you're using 2 strands or more that you weave the individual strands in because you're going to get a much better appearance on the inside of your bag, okay? So I would come in and I would weave in all 4 of those ends. All right, another way to change colors is at the beginning or ending of a row. All right, so here I'm going to join to my chain 3, but what happens if one of my colors ends? Well, you'll just do what we did over here with that Russian join if just one colors have ended. If you want to change 2 colors, We'll cut that again. We'll bring back in this blue. Let's grab that other tail. And this red, what you can do is go ahead and bring it in, snug it down, and chain 3. And this is especially if you want to make sure your next row is a complete different color and doesn't change colors a lot like here. You can go ahead and do your chain 3 and then just go ahead, and a lot of times I'll pull those over and I'll stitch my next stitches over those, okay? And so those are 3 different ways that you can bring in some new colors and have it look neat and tidy, and especially if you're changing colors a lot. All right, so we have the Russian join for individual yarns. We brought in 2 colors at once here and 2 colors at once here. But of course, anytime in your project, you know, when you're doing 2 colors and only one run out, your best bet really is to use that Russian join. It works perfectly and it's easy to crochet over. So when you're holding 2 strands of yarn together and crocheting with them, you're going to think of this as only one strand of yarn, even though you're doing them 2 together. And what I mean by that is the amount of loops on your hook and things like that. All right, let's get started. We're going to begin with our slip knot. We're going to chain 5. We're going to take the tail of our yarn, put it over our hook, and pull it through that loop. And then we'll snug that down to form a circle. We'll tie that stay knot. And if you prefer to do the magic circle here, you certainly can. I just don't prefer it for this project. All right, so we're going to put our hook through, pull up a loop, and chain 3. Now, one of the keys to keeping your yarn even, because it can get loopy, you can, get it droopy so it doesn't stay together, is to just constantly sort of pull it out like this. And I have a basket here, or a tub sort of thing. I have both my skeins of yarn in there, and I'll be pulling from both of them at the same time. If you want to use just one color, you can use the strand of yarn from the outside of the skein and the inside of the skein and pull them as well. I just like to use 2 different colors for this type of project for a scrap bag. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to stitch 9 double crochets in this chain 5 loop. We've chained 3 that counts as 1, and we're going to stitch 9 more. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops, yarn over and go through the next 2 loops. And what I was talking about is when you're stitching, don't think of this as 2 loops. Think of it as 1. At first, it might feel just a little bit clumsy stitching with 2 strands of yarn, but after you get going, it'll be a piece of cake. You just have to get used to it. And of course, anytime you're starting out a project, sometimes it just takes a little bit of work. There we go. Knots happen. All right, I wasn't counting. Let's see how many I've got. Here's my chain 3, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I need 1 more. So with my chain 3 and my 9 double crochets, I have 10 double crochets. You'll notice I pulled that string because we stitched over it. I'm going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now, before we go on, we're going to turn this over, and I did pull on this. I'm going to pull on it again, gently close that up, and then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to weave in each of those strands separately. And that's going to help it hold. We don't want the center of our bag coming undone. So I'm going to go up through some of these stitches, and remember this is the back side of our work. There we go. And I'm going through fibers and stitches. So there's the one, and then I'll come back and do the other one. This is what I do when I'm stitching with more than one strand, because I think it makes it hold better. You can use a bigger needle and do them both at the same time if you prefer. This is just how I prefer to do it. And remember, in crochet, there are lots of ways to do the same thing. You have to do what works best for you. All right, so I've got both my strands weaved in and tidied up. And so now for row 1, I have 10 double crochets. I joined to the chain 3 with a slip stitch, and I chained 3. Now, in case you didn't know, we are starting at the bottom of our bag. We're going to do the circle, and then we'll work our way up the sides of the bag. All right, for row 2, our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and we're going to double crochet in that same stitch as our chain 3. Now we're going to go into each of those double crochets and stitch 2 double crochets. We'll be stitching with 2 strands of yarn throughout our whole project for our bag. If you struggle just a little bit and worry that you're not going fast enough, just take your time, pull out those yarns, and keep them together. See, that one came apart. We want to keep them together. So you're going to have to pay a little closer attention. I like to watch Hallmark movies while I crochet, so maybe I'm going to have to not watch a Hallmark movie while I'm working on this project. At least till I get used to it. Alrighty. So we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around, and then we'll join back to our chain 3. I stitched 2 double crochets in each of those 10 double crochets around. We're going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. And so for row 2, you're going to have 20 double crochets. And for row 3, we're basically going to do the same thing we did on row 2. We're going to double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and then we'll stitch 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. One and 2. 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets, working all the way around for row 3. I completed row 3, or round 3, 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around, so we have 40 double crochets. I joined to my chain 3 with a slip stitch and chained 3. All right, let's do row 4. We're going to do this just a little bit different. We're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Then in the next double crochet, we're going to stitch 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Our chain 3 counted us 1. We stitched 3 more, 1 in each of the next 3, and then stitched 2 double crochets in the next. And so our repeat around for row 4 is 1 double crochet in the next 4 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 double crochets in the next double crochet. 1 and 2. 1 double crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. And that's our repeat for row 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 in each of the next 4, and 2 in the next, all the way around. Then we'll join back to our chain 3. I have completed round or row 4. 1 double crochet in the next 4, and then 2 in the next, and repeat all the way around. I joined to my chain 3 and chained 3. So for row 4, you're going to have 48 double crochets. All right, let's do row 5. Our chain 3 counts as our first, and we're going to double crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. So our chain 3 counts as our first, and we stitched 4, so we have 5 double crochets, 1 in each of the next 5. Then we'll stitch 2 double crochets in the next stitch. 1 and 2. And so our repeat for row 5 is 1 double crochet in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 double crochet in the next 5, and then 2 in the next, and repeat all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 1 double crochet in the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. And I lost my loop. We don't want to do that. There we go. All right, and so that's our repeat for row 5. 1 double crochet in the next 5, 2 in the next, and repeat all the way around and join back to our chain 3. I completed row 5, stitching 1 double crochet in the next 5 stitches and then 2 in the next. Joined to my chain 3 and chained 3. So for row 6, again our chain 3 counts as our first, and now we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 5. Oops, don't want to lose that loop. All right, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So because our chain 3 counted as our first, we have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we stitch 2 double crochets in the next stitch. 1 and 2. And so that's our repeat for row 6. 1 double crochet in the next 6 double crochets. So there's 2, 4, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we'll stitch our 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And that is our repeat for row 6. 1 double crochet in the next 6 stitches, 2 in the next, and repeat all the way around. And again, join back to our chain 3 and then chain 3. I completed row 6. We have 1 double crochet in the next 6, 2 in the next, and repeat all the way around. Join to our chain 3 and chain 3. Now we just have one more row of increase, and it's similar to the other rows that we've done. We're going to double crochet in the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And again, our chain 3 counted as our first, so we have 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then 2 double crochets in that next stitch. 1 double crochet in the next 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then 2 double crochets in the next. And that is our repeat for row 7. We'll stitch those 7 double crochets, 1 in each of the next 7, 2 in the next, and repeat all the way around. And you will notice that the bottom of your bag is starting to curl up a little bit. That's exactly what we want it to do. I have completed row or round 7. You should have 72 double crochets at this point. We joined to the chain 3 and chained 3. Now we're not going to be increasing anymore. This is how big the bottom of your bag is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of the stitches around, but we're going to be working in the back loops only for this row. So if you look at the top of your row, you'll see there are loops on this side and loops on this side. The loops that are closest to you are the front loops. The loops that are away from you are your back loops. So we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around, stitching in the back loops only. And we're going to be starting to form the sides of our bag. And you'll know that you're doing the back loops correctly if you see this line here where we didn't stitch. All right, so for row 8, we're stitching 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around, stitching in the back loops only. We'll do this all the way around and join back to our chain 3. I have completed row 8, stitching 1 double crochet in each of those double crochets around. So you're still going to have 72 double crochets. We're not increasing anymore. the remainder of your bag will have the same amount of stitches on each row. I joined to my chain 3 and I chained 4. But you'll notice all the way around that line, and that's going to help your bag hold the shape of the bottom of the bag. All right, now we chained 4 because we're going to skip the next double crochet, and this counts as a double crochet, chain 1. So we'll skip the next double crochet and double crochet in the next. There we go, and chain 1. Skip the next, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip the next, double crochet in the next. And this is our repeat, working all the way around our bag. And it's important to have these holes in your bag, especially if you're going to use it as a produce or market bag. If you've got vegetables or fruits in there that might have a little bit of moisture, it'll help that. But it also works perfect for any bag, of course. And it also looks nice to have those openings in the bag. And so this is our repeat for row 9. Double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 1, all the way around, and then we'll join back to the third chain of our chain 4. I have completed row 9, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet all the way around. I joined to the third chain of the chain 4 and chained 3. Now for row 10, we're just going to stitch a row of solid double crochets. So we'll stitch a double crochet in the chain 1 space and a double crochet in the double crochet. Double crochet in the chain 1 space and double crochet in the double crochet. And we'll repeat this, working all the way around our row for a nice solid row of double crochets. So 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space, 1 double crochet in the double crochet, and repeat all the way around and join back to our chain 3. I completed row 10, stitching 1 double crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces and 1 in each of the double crochets. We didn't increase at all. We still have the 72 double crochets. And you can see here I had to change colors. My purple ran out. And so what you're going to do is you're going to continue to repeat row 9 and row 10 for 12 more rows, or more if you want a longer bag. You'll just continue to alternate the open row and the solid row of double crochet for 12 more rows. So I have completed this for 12 more rows, and of course this is the original bag, not the demo that we were doing. So you can see I changed colors a lot. Once you've repeated it the amount that you want, make sure that you end on a solid row of double crochet. So here's that. I'm going to go ahead and tie off. I joined to my chain 3 there. I'm going to go in the next stitch, pull that loop to the inside so we have a nice finish, and then I'll tidy that up with my needles, or my needle. All right, so I'll go ahead and I'll weave this in and tidy this up. My bag is all tidied up. All my ends are all weaved in. Now I need to make my drawstring. To make a strong, sturdy drawstring for our bag, we're going to take 3 strands of yarn. They can be all the same color, whatever colors that you want. I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail here. I'm going to make my slip knot, and then I'm going to chain 150 chains. And we're doing all 3 strands. You've been working with 2, and now we're working with 3 strands of our medium weight acrylic yarn. And this is going to make a nice sturdy drawstring for our bag. So you need to chain 150 chains. So here's the bag. You can pull your ties to the sides and have 2 ties, because I like to carry it that way when I'm shopping, so I can be able to get in the bag easily, or you can draw it all to one side, however you want to do that. But that is our scrap happy bag with lots of colors, using up a bunch of leftover acrylic yarns, and it's a super easy bag, and it works up super quick.